Let's do it.
Camera one. We're up. We're live, and people should be able to hear us now.
I can hear you.
I
I've
know
got
you
headphones
can. You've got
on.
the headphones on. I think you should take those off, otherwise everyone's just going to think, why is Eddie wearing headphones?
But I look cool. I look like a DJ. Anyway.
You can mix us in and out, right?
Absolutely. Hey everyone, how you all doing? Tonight we are going to be pushing outside our comfort zone, and we are going to be doing Firebase with Angular, which we've done all of those before, but
He's done them all before, but he wants me to do them.
well, Andrew does all the work really, and I just talk. But the thing is, we want to move the JSON file. We moved our schedule from hard-coded from the website into the component that's in TypeScript into a JSON file. Andrew did that, and I merged the PR today.
Do you want to show the PR?
Let's show the PR.
Show the PR.
Is that on my screen?
Yeah, you do it on yours. Go for it.
Okay, you're sharing my screen.
Not yet, but I will do once you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, your screen is on.
Cool. So I'm now. Andrew busted it already. We've been going for like literally 30 seconds, and he's already broken it.
No, I know what it is. We swapped the cameras around.
No problem. While you're doing that, I'll carry on talking. So I merged the PR this morning, which moved the our schedule, depending on where you're from hard-coded in TypeScript to JSON file. And then the Angular will read it. So I'm just in the PR section on the Code Mortals website, and it says closed. Oh, because I closed the PR, it's merged, and the top PR moves schedule to a JSON file. So Andrew did this. You can see some of its changes. And we're thinking of moving that to the database, a Firestore database, which is the new version, which was before called, I can't remember, but it's Firestore. And the idea is we put it to that, and then we read on the website from there. It'll be in real time. So later on, if we add anything, no one needs to refresh a page using Firebase. Firestore with Firebase, with Angular observable and subscribes, we can have it all real time. So if you've got the website open and we make a change to the database, it will be directly to the database. Then in real time, your list will be updated. Like how awesome is that?
For those that sit there all day just waiting for when's the next... Like tonight, when we weren't having a planned stream, it was a very last-minute decision to go, actually, you know what, let's go upstairs, do an hour and a half of a stream. We could have put that up on there for anyone that was watching 20 minutes before we started. They could have seen that stream entry come in.
Because obviously, I stare at that schedule and see what's going on.
No one's got anything better to do, right?
But I think it shows the real-time side and how easy it is to do. Well, I say easy, we're going to struggle because we can't remember how to do it. But I know...
But it might be worth just quickly, because no one saw what we did to move. The schedule was just hard-coded in the front end. We moved it to a JSON file, and we used some Angular features to do that. Okay. So whilst we might be using slightly different features to do the Firestore work, it might be worth just running through this PR very quickly and highlight how the HTTP client works, the resolves work, and the fact that within Angular we've got an assets folder. We put a JSON file into the assets folder so that it's available on the internet, even though there's no database, there's no back end. It's just a JSON file because that's all we need to load.
Let's
and how
do
that's
it.
going over the HTTP client. So go on, you've got the screen open. You can talk through the PR quickly.
I have the control, I have the power, although Andrew could just switch my screen off. So what we did, we created a service, and we used Angular's HTTP client, and then we've got this find all method, and it returns an observable with a generic of an array, which has a generic of an event. So if you don't know what a generic is, what that means is when you define a type, you don't know what the type's... Or when you define, I guess, a class or a function and it's expecting a type as an input or an output, it doesn't know what that type is at that specific point. And so you call it a generic, and what that means is when you call that class, you call that function, with the angle brackets, you can pass in the type that you want at that moment in time, and then it will follow all the way through where it needs to. So you'll see it in a lot of places, kind of the angle, open close bracket, and it might have like a capital T in it, and that's just like a type, or capital T. 2. Do they call it 2?
There's two ways you can run it. You either use the angle bracket generic style, or TypeScript has its own way of doing something as something as well. So there's two ways you can do it.
There are different ways to do it, and some of them are preferred now.
From our background with Java and PHP and that, we probably prefer the generic still. But I know a lot of people, if they come straight into TypeScript, go down the as route, because that's the general way they recommend it, only because you can run TypeScript through different compilers, and one of those compilers doesn't understand the angle brackets.
So what we do in this find all is we use, because in the constructor you've got the private HTTP with type HTTP client, what that means is Angular will use dependency injection and pass it into that class, and then the HTTP variable will be available to you with the HTTP client. And also, because you put private in front of it, it means it's only available for this class, but it also means it's a class variable. So on line 16, we can then say this HTTP, we can kind of get that without actually declaring it as a class variable. It's kind of already happens for us. Magic. And then we just say get, and again, this is the type we're expecting back, so the data will be mapped to that, or probably cast to that rather than mapped to that. And this is the URI we're going to get, and it's going to that URI is going to be with the / at the front. I haven't got that selected. Will be off the host that you're on. If you're locally, it'll be off localhost. If it's hosted on the internet, it'll be off the domain it's on. So moving away from the service and onto the resolve. So that the page has the data loaded when you come to it, rather than having it be empty and suddenly jump and fill. When you get those sites, that sucks, that's bad user experience. You can use a resolve to kind of hold the page being displayed while it gets the data, so when the page loads, the data's already there in the page. So we use a resolve here to do that. So you can see we implement the interface resolve, and we put in the generic types. We inject the schedule service because we need that for the find all, and then we return the find all. And again, it has the same return type as what we've passed into the implementation of the resolve. Hopefully I've explained that well. Hopefully Andrew's checking the chat to see if there's any questions. Do ask any questions.
I am keeping an eye on the chat, yes, and I'm also just double checking the documentation on Firestore while Eddie's talking, because as I said, he's having me do this. I've not even looked at the docs until 30 seconds ago.
I've got the docs open.
Cool.
I looked at it for 2 minutes.
You're my pairing partner today. You're going to be pointing me in the right direction for what to do.
Okay. And that's basically it. And then you can see this is the JSON file. It is just an array of objects. And then we removed all the hard-coded stuff out of the actual component, which is great. And in the component now, from the activated root, we grab the snapshot and save it to events. Then you have to subscribe to the snapshot.
No, because that is just when the page loads. So we're not monitoring for events that might be changing the data. Only if we wanted to actually monitor for events that the data could change whilst we're on the page do we need to.
That's true, because it's snapshot.
Subscribe. So snapshot will just give us that moment in time, but we're not expecting any data changes. If it was say your user account, a profile, and you might be able to update your profile from one place, and you're showing the profile somewhere else, like you've got a username at the top in the nav bar maybe, saying this is who you are. You go to your profile page, you change your name, then actually where you've loaded that component, the OnInit probably wants to subscribe to your profile data, so that when that changes, you can show their updated name at the top.
So I think
in this instance, we're deeming it that once they're on the page, we just don't want it to change, but that might be a different aspect with Firebase.
Sure. Well, I think actually for what we need for Dashboard Hub, we've got subscribe on the snapshot, which I actually think we don't need. Because later on we replace it with a real-time data, but for the initial page load, we've also got to subscribe with a take one, which I don't think we need.
Probably overloading the well, the amount of performance is negligible, really.
Sure,
but every little bit is nice to
cleanliness.
do. Yeah.
So that just gave me an idea. So that's good. So it's always good to look at other people's work and getting involved in other projects, because you always learn so much more. We're always still learning.
That the first time round when you were reviewing the PR.
I reviewed it on my phone, so I kind of glanced over it really fast and just kind of hit. I trusted him. It's done all right. Not bad. Okay, cool. So that's what we've got now, and then we're going to move it to the database. So I have logged in to to Firebase, and this is our website application. I've created a database. I have got the rules on it are locked down, so it's not open. Because when you create the database on the Firestore database on Firebase, it does say, do you want it open or locked down to begin with? If you start with open, then anyone can write to your database, and you have to remember to lock that down pretty soon. But for testing purposes to get started, people usually have that open. So, but what I did, I've locked it down. We'll create the rules pretty much near the beginning, because we're going to have the rules read for everybody, and then anything important like write, update, delete will just be locked down for everybody. We can just change it directly in the database for now because we've got no login system.
I can't believe you've already jumped in and started setting up the database.
Well, I just clicked on database and said create.
That's right. You keep going.
But you need to do
No, you carry on, please, because that way I don't have to do any coding.
Okay. Well, I'm not doing I'm doing the pointing and the clicking. But I can do some coding as well.
Firebase interface is nice and straightforward.
So
cool.
Collection, what we're going to have is schedule, events, what we're going to call it?
Well, I know I call it event at the moment, but does that make sense long term? How easy is it to change a collection name once you've set one?
I don't know, I never tried. Anyone watching know how hard it is to change a collection name in the future? Well, I can create a dummy one now and try. Look, go events, and go next. I don't want to add anything, so if I just delete that, save it, and then can I rename it? Oh no, I can't do that.
There's a little dot on the side there, maybe
this
go
one.
there.
Delete collection.
Yeah.
Well, apparently I've got one entry in there now. I don't know where that came from. Got one document in there. Let me delete that. Oh, the collection has to have a document in it, but it looks like it. So yes, so it doesn't look like you can rename it. No, that's
so
fine.
If you get the names right
fine.
first time in this one's quite important then.
Yeah.
So events, I think, is possibly wrong because
so?
that might be events we want to host.
This is going to be
So
everything.
schedule
right?
is probably better.
Like a schedule, I guess, covers everything, right?
Well, with an event, you might want to be able to have attendees and things, right? So I think it would be different.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Oh, what's this? Edit. Oh, it's just edit path. Okay, click that.
Well, once you click at the top now, you've got a little edit there. Can you?
I think that's that document. That's for the path.
Oh, that's just
so
changing
you
the
can-
path. Okay. So 5A says an improvement. How to rename a collection? There probably is a way. Maybe it's a CLI.
Yeah, probably a CLI way. So let me just add a new collection. I can delete that. So we're going to say schedule. Okay, next.
Okay, so what fields do we need? Should know this because we've got an event already. I can bring that up the code for the event.
And we'll just auto-generate the document ID, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we want to get into managing IDs. Most
Cool.
databases are pretty good at managing them. So I just need to boost up the project. Where's my projects?
Oh, actually, I did have the JSON open here. I should be able to see. We have type, title, link, date start, and date end. Let me just switch these tabs around. Cool. So everyone watching, what have you been up to today? What have you been working on? Are we doing this right? If we're doing anything wrong, let us know. So I can't forget what it is already. Type, and value for this document. I guess I should put one entry in.
Is that a default value or is that?
No, it's just the value for this document that I'm creating now. So type,
Oh, okay.
title.
So you probably wanted to match the first one we've got in there.
Oh, don't know where that went.
This is the downside to not having staff with a database. We've got this JSON file that's all very manual, and there's I think about 10 entries in there now. So we're going to have to manually copy all those over.
True,
But when you're forcing me to do some coding in a minute, I'll have you copying them all in. And setting
sure,
them all up.
but and people watching the audience can also kind of get involved, get the open source contribution going.
How do you add a date? Is it going to take
Date's
a date
going to be
like
a
this?
bit. Date's going to be a bit strange.
So
I remember something's up with the date. Well, that's linked. I don't want to mess that up.
So date, start, date, end. Timestamp.
Timestamp.
Yeah, that's not too
field,
bad.
Start date.
You can't paste it in. What was it?
It's today's, right? So
No, I don't think that's today. Go back to the code. That was the 10th of the 7th.
this is historic.
These are historic ones,
which
we want to keep.
We want to keep, yeah. So
that's
10th of the 7th. Is that when we started? Not that long ago, actually.
No, it's 12 days ago was the first stream. So
And time, we can even put time in. How fancy is that? It's about 8 to 6 o'clock at night.
well, it has it in there again. So I thought that they are all correct. That was 7 o'clock when we streamed.
7 o'clock.
Which is why they're so quiet at the moment. They're not expecting us to start on time.
We wanted to start at 6 today, right?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, the time we said 7 o'clock, so 19.
That we didn't actually tell anybody. So. Cool, and then date
History.
end.
And date.
Is it date end date or date?
I think you did it that way
Okay.
around. Timestamp. Again, the 7th. And it was 21:00:00.
So I
What
take it
else?
that's all in UTC then when they put them in, because there's no choice for time zone there either,
That's
is
a
there?
good point.
So I assume that must all be UTC.
Let me hit save and see what happens.
UTC +1. Oh, it's taken where we are
Where we're
now.
now, yeah, I guess so.
Interesting.
Let me delete the events thing. We don't need this anymore. Events. So, cool. So we've got one. I can't bother to put a second one in there. You can put that in. Right. We've got one.
I just told you you're going to be putting all of them in.
But I
If
figured.
you want to keep coding, you keep coding. I won't put them in.
No, but I figured if we shouldn't put them all in beforehand, because what we want to do is when it is on the website, we want us to put it in, and we want the website to automatically update, right? To show the
okay.
real-time sexiness.
But the historic ones we don't want to be showing unless we don't put any filter on to start with.
Yeah, we might not put any filter on to start with, but also we might have 2 tabs or 2 columns where we have like past and future. We could maybe make a little bit of get both of us coding and make it a little bit interesting. So,
Fair enough.
let's see how we're going. Right. What next? So we probably need to get the credentials. So if I remember correctly, you go to settings, and anyone watching, let me know. And we go here, and then we've got to create an app. So we're going to be a web app, and it's going to be, again, the webs. I don't know where that's come from. It's going to be the website. I think they're setting up for something.
I'm not sure. It might get loud in a minute.
I don't know.
It could be interesting.
Do you
we
want
might
to
have to cut short if it does.
Do you want to ask them if we're okay for here?
They haven't asked us to move, so let's carry on.
So we're going to set up an app for the website. So you can have multiple apps. You might have different security codes for different apps. Also to set up Firebase hosting for this app. No, we've already got that, right? It's already hosted on Firebase.
Yeah, hang on. What are you doing? Register app. Add Firebase.
We don't have an app, which
We've
is
already
really
got.
bizarre.
Yeah, we have.
No, we haven't. Your app's none. I don't know how it's working. Because you have to do this part.
Yeah, if you go to hosting though, you should see it. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, okay. We did this already.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the release history.
So that's good. You can see the releases all there.
Yeah, I want the. Where do I get the security stuff? Is usually from the settings.
You do that in the CLI. Oh, right. Depends what you mean by that.
For the UI. So what you do is if I add
If
an
we want to
app
put it into test mode to start with.
website, and I'll say no Firebase hosting because we've got that already. Register app. It'll give us the code to put into the Angular Firebase. There we
Yeah,
go.
and that's the stuff we need that goes in the config file.
Yeah. So,
So how are you going to get that to me now?
console log.
Hopefully I can go and grab that myself anyway.
So that should be created, and then you go down to, if you go config, that's what you want.
Yes, I need that. Yep. And that will go into the environment config for Angular. So let me go and try grabbing that.
Did you add Angular Firebase?
I'm not yet. I wanted to save that until
Oh gosh, I'm getting excited. Real-time data. Oh, it's been around for ages. It's just, you haven't been excited about it.
It's good to get excited.
It is too excited. Let's we switch over to your screen, and I can.
Depends if there's anything else you want to keep
Chat
sharing.
is quite quiet today. You sure your tablet's working?
We are quiet. Yeah, the stream must be broken.
No, it says it's live. It says it's good. It says it's got 4 people watching.
So where do I
So,
grab the keys from on here?
Let's hear what everyone else is up to. So, the cog next to the project overview.
Users and permissions. isn't it?
No, go to click on general, the first tab.
Let me swap over to me then, if we're going to do online.
Yeah, let's swap over to Andrew. Grab his screen. We left the stream deck at home, so we can't do that.
Yeah,
my
Stream
bad.
Deck's a bit slower. Well, it was unplanned. We weren't really going to do this. You're lucky you got your camera with us and the microphones as well.
I always have the microphone and camera with us, but a
Just
stream deck
follow
would have
you
been
everywhere.
nice. Yeah, so then scroll to the bottom, and then there's the app. And if you can scroll up slightly in config.
Cool.
That's
So
what we
that
want.
stuff there, I'll grab, and that will go straight into the config file for our environment. I'll just put it in the prod one. If I can go both, can't it? 'Cause, both probably need it. We'll call this Firebase. There it is. Seems a little upset with. Oh right, yeah. If I save it, it should fix those.
Cool.
Okay, and I'll put the same into the other
You're
one
not,
as
you're
well.
not using VS Code.
No, not today. I got a bit bored with getting confused, and you still haven't updated
My plugin.
your plugin,
My
even though you
plugin.
did a stream at the weekend where you talked all about updating it, created issues for doing it, but
That's
you haven't
true.
actually done it yet. So once that's done, I'll install that and see if it's any better.
Okay, sounds good. How come the
I'm
save?
too lazy to go and figure out VS Code myself, you see.
Fair enough. How
Got
come
other
the
things to worry
saving worked? What did that do? When you hit save, all the red lines went.
Well, the formatting here is set to it was double quotes when I copied it.
But when you save it,
But in
also-
WebStorm, I have my preferences set
to fix it all.
In the editor somewhere under code style JavaScript. There will be something here that says, which one is it under?
Okay,
punctuation. Here we go. Single quotes always.
So it fixes it.
So
right,
when you hit
got
save, it updates everything to match and fixes your formatting for you. One of those nice things that I've not yet seen a plugin for VS Code today.
VS Code does that. VS Code just gets it right first time.
VS Code's a little cheap. This cost me 50 quid a year. So.
And VS Code, I think, improves a lot faster than because it's open source, right? I'm a big advocate of open source.
So we've put the environment variables in, but we don't yet have any way of knowing about Firebase from our code. So we have to add a plugin for that, right? So we need to do an npm install save for Firebase, and we also need, is it Angular?
Angular has its own one, yeah, let me check.
I think it's Firebase or Firestore?
I think it's Firebase. Angular Fire.
It might just be Angular Fire, actually, yeah.
I think it's Angular Fire.
Okay, I'll give that a go.
Or it might be Angular Fire 2. Do you want me to check?
I'm trying to remember whether you need Firebase as a normal dependency or a dev dependency.
Firebase is normal dependency and Angular Fire.
Okay. That's what we've got, so that's good.
Cool.
We'll install those. So in a moment the dependencies will update. Now I always fix the dependency versions, so I'll be opening the package JSON. In fact, we should do a dependency update as well, because there are there's a good side and a bad side of dependency fixing. Dependency fixing means you know that when it runs on the CI, dependencies aren't going to be a reason it breaks. So like if I didn't update anything for 3 months and just ran the tests again, it should all still work. Whereas if you don't fix the dependencies, in 3 months from now, if I ran the test, it's possible that it will bring up some new dependencies that conflict with one another, and then you go, oh, what broke?
So I
do like, well, even the file log doesn't go all the way. So even if you were to not fix your numbers here, it will still bring up the top ones. The file lock is for lower level stuff.
But it should lock it down. I'm thinking of like PHP Composer or Java
should,
Maven and
so
on.
That's why I always fix them in here. But it should, you're right. Maybe there's a setting somewhere that you can tell package lock to
use this.
Forcibly use that. Don't ignore the fact that in your npm you're saying, well, if there's a newer one, use that, and it will update.
That's what I thought it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, you think it should, but it's only for if the version you've got in here is still the main one, then it will respect the package.
Interesting.
Lock.
Okay.
So yeah, I always fix them in here and then periodically update them, but we haven't done it for a little while. Anyway, I should hopefully now see Firestore. There it is. So Firebase and Firestore. So I'm going to just lock those down. Looks like Firebase is on version 5, so hopefully that's good. Now I need to update how we're pulling those files back, right?
So let's have a look.
I could probably do with a service now to do this with, right?
Yeah. Well, you already got a service, right? You've got the schedule service. We need to update that.
Did I create a schedule? Oh, I did. Yeah.
Dude, you're really organised.
Yeah. Something's not right.
But you need to add. You'll need to add the Angular Fire module to load the environment variable.
Yes. So let's start with doing this first. Let me just sort these things out.
If you're watching, thank you for supporting. Ask us any questions. It could be about what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing, but it also could be about how to get a job, open source. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share with your friends. You know, happy coding. Actually, we should have called our channel actually rather than Code Mortals. Happy coding.
You know, we're always happy when we're coding.
We are. But we've had a long day, so we're actually a bit delirious.
Well, so first thing I need to do is include Angular or Firebase, make it available, right? So I need to import.
It will be Angular Fire module from Angular Fire.
Be from Angular Fire.
Yeah, Angular Fire.
It's not the module yet. The module's
I'm
in the module file.
I'm doing the module file. What are you doing?
I was going straight into sorting the service. I always had the module later.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay. I'll do it
Only
around.
because you never know which module you actually need. But yeah, I can add the module first if you want.
Well, we know we're
just
going to
sit in
need Angular Fire module. But it's interesting to see how people code different ways, different styles. So Andrew's starting more at the bottom, working up in terms of the component and the module, and I always start at the module and work my way down. Just so I can do a hello world with the component and just make sure it works. I didn't bust anything.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. You start from the bottom, the smallest thing, and then work your way up to say, what actually do I need to make that work?
But you can't run that file until you've added that module.
But you're starting wide and narrowing down. I'm saying narrow and wide. Yeah. Anyway.
Basically, both are wrong. Start in the middle.
You meet in the middle. So you have someone start at one end and someone start at the other end, and you see if you join up.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's not what
and
you
you kind of do
You
that.
don't do that.
Well, if you have a contract, if you had an interface or something like that, you could do something like that, I suppose.
So imports, we've got the Angular Fire module now, so I'll put that in.
You're sharing your screen, aren't we? Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Chat's really quiet today, so that's good, so we can get some more coding done.
Yeah, normally we spend all our time talking to people on the video, so it's quite nice to have, well, I wouldn't say nice, it's nice to have people there as well. So
It is, because
it's a mix of both. You kind of want a nice balance. And at the moment we've gone completely the other way. It's really quiet.
dinner time, or in the UK anyway.
So, okay, so Angular Fire module, and then, so in the service we need, what's the Angular Fire thing that we need?
The Angular Fire
It's
thing
Fire,
is, I can't remember, let me check.
Firebase Firestore?
I'll have a look now. It is... Bam, bam, bam. So you've added it to the module,
Yep.
and then you want to add it to in the...
Angular Firestore.
Angular Firestore. Guessed it right. And it's Angular Firestore from Angular Firestore.
I hope you're on version, but you're on the latest docs, yeah?
Always. Yeah.
Cool, lowercase store, right. So now we will need to make that available, so we'll have another private in here, so it'll be Firebase probably. What do we got? Firestore, maybe Firestore.
They call it DB in their docs. I don't think it matters too much. Firestore. I prefer Firestore.
I
It's
prefer something that's a
descriptive.
bit more descriptive of the name, like HTTP for HTTP client.
Yeah, I think it's
I mean,
pretty
Angular,
good.
we know we're in Angular, we know the client, so we can always skip the occasional word. But
Yeah, I
keep
agree.
it close, so Firestore. I'm going to keep the HTTP client right now, although I think it's going to disappear, isn't it? I don't think we actually need a HTTP client when we're doing
It
this.
will. It probably will disappear. Actually, you're right. We won't be connected to that anymore.
So how do we do a find all? What do we need to do to get all the results from our table?
Right. Okay. So what you need to do is that's fine. Just Firestore.
So yeah, we're going to have return
Yeah. This
Firestore. This dot Firestore, you're
Yep.
right. Yeah, this dot Firestore
dot collection.
collection. And then
Collect-
the name of the collection is it?
Yeah. Which we
Inside,
call schedule. Yeah.
And then
Dot values changed. Change value changes. Changes.
and that's an observable, which is fine.
Which is perfect.
Can we cast that to say it's going to be an array of events? Does it have any casting mention?
What do you get on collection? I think you do. You think it's got a generic.
Collection, yes. Looks like you can put a generic there. So, does it know it's an array? Hopefully it does.
Yes,
Looks
because
like
it's a
not-
collection. Yeah.
Okay.
So we could get rid of HTTP.
I was going to say, so that everything else in there will probably work. Let's drop the HTTP client out.
Oh no, something won't work, which caught me out for ages.
Resolve.
Yes, but let's do it. You'll get a blank page. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Let's get a blank page. I can also, in that case, remove HTTP module back out from the main app as I work my way back up the app.
How are we doing, everyone? How's today's stream going? We're doing a lot more coding, which I suppose is good.
And the video is looking a lot more stable as I keep on glancing at the video to see is it glitching at all. So the adapter may well have been the issue.
But which one's using the 4K?
This one.
Which is from where? From that?
Yeah.
And I've made sure that only outputs in HD.
Okay, so we've
So
made
it
a
might
few
be
tweaks.
that. Yeah.
Which tweak made the difference?
I think it's the HD.
One
from the
thing at a
camera.
time should be changed.
No. I was just too excited. I wanted things to work.
The video quality's fine, I'm sure. I just hope that the size of the text is big enough. As I keep looking at the screen.
No, it looks good. No,
I can read it on the little screen.
On here it
there,
looks good.
So
that looks good.
it's for those people on their phones that they probably can't read it.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got schedule. We've moved to Firestore. So if I open up my
It's not going to work for
local
two
running
reasons.
page-
I've just realised it's not going to work for two reasons.
Okay, well that's cool. So I go to localhost and I hit schedule, and look, it doesn't go anywhere. Let's see if there's any errors on the console. There are. Ooh, look at that error. No provider for Angular Firestore. Okay, so issue number 1.
We're going to have a few issues. This is fun, right? This is debugging.
So do you know what to do, or shall I go search around the internet?
No, let me have a quick look. Look at the docs. I don't remember what to do, but there was. That's fine.
We'll probably have to put it in as a provider, right? So we'll have to include another module, maybe.
I don't see it. That's the environment config we did. Then we added it to imports, right? With the initialize apps environment variables. And then
I've got a different set of docs to you, so I'm going to have a look at my docs. which, so const Firebase config, yeah, I thought so. So as we load up the Fire module, we need to initialize the app with a Firebase config.
Yeah, I said that already. I had that on my screen like 10 minutes ago. Or maybe I thought it, had it on my screen and thought it and didn't quite say anything. I did say it had been a long day.
The Fire module, we need to get a Firebase config, which is going to just be, we can import that straight at the
Straight
top
from the
here.
environment, right?
So import, we'll say config from, where is it from? That's a good question. Why is it not giving me any help?
It's just from environment, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got to get to the right one though, haven't I?
Uh,
Environments.
Oh, it's up one, and then environment, then environment.
Yeah.
You need it from the docs.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
So,
I need to put that in brackets.
Would it be config or not? Wouldn't it be environment?
It's going to be environment, that's why it gets exported, yeah. Spend a bit too much time working on back-end stuff, because there's a lot of back-end work going on, and we call it config on our back-end normally. And then I guess I can do environment.firebase. Okay, so that's the first part, which looks like it aligns to what they were doing. Does that register at the provider? Maybe it does. That might well do everything as it initializes the app.
I still do see two other issues, but
okay,
we
well,
can
let's
work
have a
on
look
it.
and see what the next one is. So that's reloaded, so I've got the errors gone. If I hit it again, okay, new error. Still no provider, so that doesn't resolve the provider issue.
Anyone watching know the answer? We are welcome to
I said
suggestions.
this is my first time using Firestore. I've
My
read a
second
few
time.
things and I've reviewed a few things, but it doesn't mean I actually know it, because a lot of the time I'm reviewing it and going, does that make sense?
The odd thing is, the setup you kind of do like once in a blue moon,
Absolutely.
and
that's
so
everything.
yeah, you just kind of forget. But according to these docs that I have, I know they're different to
You've
your
got to
doc.
import the Firestore module as well, have you?
Oh, okay, my bad, I skipped that. I did not see
It's interesting,
that.
it says like Angular Fire 2. Be careful if working on an existing project as the new Angular Fire v5 contains project changes. They're using Angular Fire here.
But you're saying update Angular Fire to V5, and I'm straight.
Yeah, that is upgrading, to be fair. Because I just searched.
I'm
the
in
internet for stuff.
I'm in their repo on GitHub and looking at
Let's go
install and
find
set
that repo
up.
on GitHub.
Don't know if it's better. We will see. Let me see. Because it just says Angular Fire module dot initialize app with the environment variable dot Firebase, which is what you had, and then that's it. And then you can set up the individual modules that you need. Oh, Firestore. We are using Firestore. We forgot to do that. Yes. Under the Fire module, you do need Firestore. My bad.
Okay, I thought I read that. This looks slightly different as well, as I bring up the Angular Fire project. So you're on GitHub docs.
I went
Oh,
into
there
that
we go,
one.
you're
Yeah,
in
there
there.
we go.
Okey-doke. Right, now we're on the same page, quite literally.
Literally on the same page. The same README in the same repo.
Okay, README's are good. Yeah, so I saw this Firestore module as well. So let's add that.
You just need that one. I think the rest we can leave out for now. Let me just check the chat, see if anything's happening. Chat's so quiet today.
Eddie doesn't like it when the chat's quiet.
don't-
Half of his stream is talking on the chat.
It's true. What am I meant to do if I can't chat to people?
Well, you get to pair. We get to get out do some work.
Okay.
Okay, so I've added that one. Is that going to be enough, or do you reckon we need to do something else? I'm sure you need to do something else, but
There is
to
something
get
else.
rid of the provider. Oh, it looks different. Here we go.
Yes.
Missing or insufficient
I locked
permissions.
down the database.
Oh, you didn't put it in test mode. I was going to put it in test mode.
No, I locked it down. Let's do
Okay,
it
so you went straight into full.
straight in. So what you need to do is with the CLI, you need to turn our project into a Firebase project. If I remember correctly.
Okay.
Because if you list the files in the directory, do you have the Firebase project files?
No, I won't. So, okay, this is the whole
Like initialize.
Firebase CLI stuff. So MPX.
Let me go
I have
to
to
the
remember how we do
docs.
this now. Firebase login. Colon
to
CI.
deploy it, yeah. But I'm trying to think. There is the whole kind
Okay.
of.
And I've got 1,000,001 projects that I can log in as. So There we go. Allow that. Okay, so Firebase CLI login is successful. So once I'm logged in, if I remember right, I can then do a npx Firebase in it. Is it?
I think so. Wow, you know more than me. And I've used
Okay,
it
and then it
more
asks
than
what do you want to do. So we want Firestore, right?
you. Yeah. Functions
And then
we
we
don't.
use space to select them. if I
Yeah.
remember right.
Functions.
We're already doing hosting, so that's yeah. So we've already got hosting. Hopefully, it will figure out that we just want to update that.
Maybe add hosting. It might overwrite the file, but then we can revert it. But it might put some other config in.
Let's see what happens. Worst case, we've got Git there. Ooh, hello.
What did you select?
Associate this. Firebase already has a default project. Doesn't have permissions.
Yeah, because I think
Okay.
they've changed it. No, you can't have default projects anymore. Kush and me had the same issue, so we actually deleted the entire Firebase project and started again. But don't do that. So I don't know how to get around that.
Well, I can just delete this file.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think when it connects up, it will say it's got a default project.
Let's see what
Let's
happens.
see.
So we'll put Firestore in. We'll put the hosting in.
Did it work?
Okay. Oh, why is it not found? That was interesting. It was finding some other projects.
It's probably busted it now.
Let's see.
We got Git. We can always revert back. Don't worry.
Exactly. I'm not too worried.
I'm worried.
Okay, Firebase in it. Let's try that again.
Hey, Connor's just joined. Hey, I got some people asking some chat or conversation in chat, so I can actually do something now.
Create new project. I must need to log in again.
Connor says, "What's up?" But listen to you guys for the last 10 minutes in the background. Forgot to say hello. Doing a project with MongoDB and Flask. Audio and video is good. Kush says audio and video is good. Thank you very much for the chat. I feel
Brilliant.
like I'm useful now. And that I can talk to someone, because I talk to Andrew and he doesn't listen.
I
So
don't.
don't
I'm
delete
too
that.
busy doing
and
stuff
he
on
deletes
here.
stuff, and yes, so
It keeps generating me a new token, which is fine. I can delete those tokens like I had to before.
oh yeah, don't lose. Remember, you need to keep the token thing in your history so you know which ones to delete. It's a bit of a pain last time.
Yeah.
So glad the audio and visual is good. I can talk really close into the mic to make it super crisp. And
Those down.
glad you've been listening to the
Delete
last
them
10 minutes, Connor. How's your Mongo and Flask project going? I think I spoke to you on Saturday, so I hope you got a bit of work done on that. And how's the open source side going as well?
So I'm just copying
Kush,
those
thank you very
keys
much
down
for
delete
continuing to
them
support
later.
us. And Kush knows Firebase and Angular, so she can keep an eye on us and make sure we don't make any mistakes. Well, we've
There we
made
go.
so many
So
already.
I'm storing the keys to delete them.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so why does it keep wanting to use a different account whenever I do it?
Oh, I know why. I remembered. In your Firebase file that you deleted, you can specify the default project.
No, but it should be picking it up when we do an init, right? But
No,
it's-
in it won't know which project to do.
Unless I just need to do a general login rather than a CI login.
Let me see.
Ah, that's why. Right, okay, yep. So log out with my other account.
Oh, you got to log in with your Code Mortals account. That's
Yeah.
true. So, because you deleted this file, Firebase, and you deleted. I'm sure you deleted Firebase RC, which is the
Too many
default.
accounts for things.
Yeah, we have so many accounts. Delete all the accounts.
Right, Firestore and hosting, go. That's better. Code Mortals website, yes. Sure, it should be rules.
Rules, yes.
Yeah, happy.
That's the one we need to get permissions in. It'll still break because the resolve.
Firebase indexes, happy with default.
Yes. Yeah, we'll need that default too.
Yep. Configure a single page app, yes.
Public directory is not public though, is it?
Yeah, I think it is. We'll find out in a minute what changes it's made to some of those files.
I don't think it's public though.
So this file here,
I don't think.
we do a git add all, see if it picks up.
I'm not sure. Basically, I don't know what I'm doing.
So that all looks basically the same, it's just some slight indentation differences because we indent with 4 spaces. Firebase, okay, this is where things get a bit different.
This is the good stuff.
So you're right, we had it as dist, so I'll change that back to dist.
Cool. That's
And
what
then the
beauty of
rules-
Git.
Yeah,
Every
we don't worry about these things.
Every time you do a step that's successful, make sure you commit it to Git. Therefore, you know the differences. Definitely.
Okay, so we've
Top
got the
tip.
rules, and then obviously we have just 2 entries for rules. So what do we need to do here?
So rules. Oh, you're using version 2 as well. Oh, we're only using version 1. We haven't upgraded yet. So version 2 has just recently come out of beta, I think. So I might need to look up the docs to remind me, or look at my project.
Especially if it's on version 2, it's probably all different now.
No, it's not. It's actually a very minor change. It's more about the inheritance of sub-collections, which we're not doing now. Actually, it's already got it for us. It says, let me angle the mic over here. So as you can see, it says match the path databases, which is correct. Then database, which is, again, it's just the database name that you're connecting to, documents, and then you've got your collections underneath. So underneath that, it's saying for all documents, allow read, write, if false. So basically, it's always no access. So you can split that onto multiple lines. So you can say allow read, colon, if true. Then on the line below, you can do allow write, if false. Therefore, write will be for nobody.
Okay, so what do we say here? So I put a new line in, do I?
Yeah, I do. I'm just going to quickly double check.
Okay, and then I can just say, put the word allow in front of this one.
I think you need the allow, yeah.
And then this one's just if true, yeah?
If true, yeah. But there's also delete and update. I don't know if you next to the.
Is that going to be a semicolon or
the semicolon as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's also like update and delete. But I don't know if write. They didn't have write before.
Well, we're not doing anything other than read right now, really.
Yeah, but I want to make sure we lock those down to false. But they didn't specify in their default lockdown. So I'm sure write is covering all of. Write does cover all.
I would have thought it would.
It's only if you want to
go
split.
especially
yes,
down.
It does. Yeah. See, I forget these things.
It makes sense.
Yeah, thanks. It's obvious now that I know. Yes.
Oh, wow, they're like probably stripping down the bar over there.
The bar work over there is getting redone. It looks quite interesting.
Nice. We'll have to spin the camera around and show them what they're up to.
I think I'm more interesting.
Yeah, we are.
That's why it's like watching paint dry.
It will be shortly, I'm sure. It will be.
Pardon the pun. So, okay.
Okay, so now I've done that, what else do I need to do? Can I
So
go back to
now-
the site now?
You need to actually push that up because that's not local. That's remote.
You mean I can't run this locally?
You can. It's getting there. It's kind of in beta at the moment.
I knew there's a reason I wasn't using this very often.
But because you're not cutting edge enough. You're not cool enough. You're not like all the cool kids.
I don't like waiting. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm going to
I'm
push
gonna-
this up to make this work.
I'm gonna take your
okay.
headphones off now.
So this is just a
Ears are
fire
hot.
and hope deploy, right?
No, they need to fire and hope. It will
That's
kind
why
of.
it's called Firebase.
It will kind of work most of the time. So that's not going to change. You're still going to get the error. So you need to do npx Firebase, and then you can. So you don't even need to commit it. If you want to commit to
Okay.
Git, you can. But yeah, so npx, X, because it'll be in the nodes module, Firebase, and then deploy. And then you can deploy everything or just part of it. I suggest we just deploy part of
We
it.
can just say one thing, right?
So we can go minus minus
So deploy, minus.
only space Firestore : rules. So even within Firestore you can get more specific and just have rules. I think that's correct. Kush or Connor.
Checking rules, updating
Oh, that's a good
rules.
start. That's quick. See how fast that is. You have to wait
That
for
is
it
the
long.
good side, it's quick.
So let me have. While you're doing that, I'm just gonna check the console and make sure that that's has gone up. And I can tell you if I go to rules. Oh, there is. Look, unit test and debug your rules by downloading and running the emulator.
So that's interesting. So I've done that, and all I can see now on my network traffic is a spinner going round as it tries to go to the page.
Yes. Have you gone? Is this you trying to go to schedule?
Yep.
Yes. So the problem now is the resolve,
Resolve is going to have a problem.
because
Do we need to put a pipe in there to tell it to take one?
how did you know that?
Because that seems like the obvious solution.
That took me like 2 days to figure it out, and
Really?
because no one online, everyone was like, "It should work, it should work."
Oh, come on, Eddie.
And I was just like,
just roll off your head. It's like, obviously it's sat there doing some scrolling. I haven't told it what to do, so it just sits there
Waiting.
saying, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So you just pipe it in and say, what, take one probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Andrew thinks he has the answer to everything. He kind of does usually.
So we'll put that probably straight in the resolve, I
Yeah,
guess.
put it straight in the resolve. We don't want it in the service because we want.
I'm not
to-
a fan of putting pipes into services though, but I guess to a degree the resolve's not really a service.
Yeah, I sometimes I do put pipes in the service as well as the component. If it's a generic piece of like piping, then
So there's a bit of RxJS there, isn't it? So RxJS, you have observables, you can pipe things, and
I
there's a
do
whole load of
sexy
operators you can
things.
do on, just manipulating data on the fly.
mapping or extra HTTP requests, kind of like a promise all, or
You can
you
get
can
it
do all
to
sorts of
fire
things.
off other events whilst it's running.
You can get it to retry, you can get it to debounce, so you can wait with debounce on the amount of clicks or the amount of HTTP requests or on time?
There's the scheduler. It's right now empty because we have a little rule on the front end that says hide them if the date's out. So what I can do is I can turn that rule off by just getting rid of this ngIf for a minute.
No, don't do that. Put it back. I've got a great idea.
We're going to add another event. Let's see that. I can see that there. Okay.
This is my great idea.
There is some formatting that's a little bit off, so we're going to have to fix some formatting in a moment.
Okay, this is going to be cool, right?
I'll put that back.
Okay, so Andrew's put that back.
I'm not going to touch anything.
And he's not. His hands is off his laptop.
We should add an event for today, right? Because effectively, right now we haven't put something in there, so we should put one in for right now, the one we're doing. Should we go to your screen for a moment? Oh, which screen do you want to see? Mine, I guess.
Yeah, we want to see yours. So what we're going to do, Andrew's not touching his computer, and I was just going to change the date on this.
I can take the mic with me and stand back.
So I was going to add another event. So I suppose you could switch to my screen, and then before I hit save, switch back to yours, if you wanted.
Okay. Yep. So everyone can see it live.
Anyone on the internet can read this document.
We can get it.
I don't think it can read. Authentic users can read, can't write. That's fine. Perfect. So I'm going to add a new document. Are we on my screen now? Okay.
Yeah, we should be on your screen.
Add a new document, and I'm going to add the second one. Do you want me to add a newer one? Is that what you were saying? Should I go right to the end?
Yeah, well, you can put one in for today. I was what I was thinking.
I'll just do the other end completely.
Okay, go down the very end. So the last.
Well, actually, you haven't got today's one in here,
we've got.
so it makes sense.
No, exactly, that's what I was thinking. You can have one for today.
Today makes sense. So we were saying type, and the type today is called
stream.
Then we're going to add another field, and it's going to be title, and it's going to be Angular
plus Firebase
plus TypeScript. Because I know people have some TypeScript questions.
Yeah. Well, obviously TypeScript is just what you use with Angular anyway, but we use TypeScript everywhere.
We'd use it for other stuff as well, functions,
it confuses
API.
the hell out of me when I do anything with JavaScript now.
Why?
Well, there was a question from Anton, and we've mentioned Anton before. He sent this code over and said, "What does this do?" But it was just core JavaScript. I was there looking at it going, this is what I think it should do, but some of these things just don't make sense anymore. I've only been using TypeScript for like 2 years, which, 2 years is quite a while, you forget a lot of things. Fortunately, I did actually get the answer right, but I had to question myself about 6 times thinking about it, going, this is what it should do, but if it was in TypeScript, it would actually throw an error here because you shouldn't be doing that. So, yeah.
That's true. TypeScript is stricter. It's very nice.
It is quite strict about what you can do and tells you off quite frequently.
So we started at 6:30 we started, didn't we?
Yeah, we were 6:30, pretty much on the dot today. I think it might have been 6:31, but.
And then we're going to say date end.
Yeah, we'll finish at about 8 o'clock, so another half hour. Yeah, we're getting close to being done, so.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So today's the date, and we're going to finish at 20:00. I think that's everything in here, right? I'm not going to hit save yet. There's a reason for this. We're going to switch back to Andrew's screen,
okay.
And I'm going to show you how in real time it's going to update this. I hope this works. We haven't tested it yet. So I'm just going to hit the save, and if the
I
haven't hit it yet. If the Firebase data store, the Angular observable is working, this should come through correctly, because this is for now, and we've got a filter to filter out the old ones.
Okay, so 3, it's always gone.
I pressed it. Come on, boom. Come on, the stress. We messed something up.
Well, you got it in the resolve, right? We said take 1. We're not actually on the page doing anything.
Oh, we forgot to add that in. Okay, that's fine. We got plenty more events to add.
Oh, that's cool. But if I refresh, we should better see that one. Oh, can we? So this might be where I think I actually did spot something here. So when I turned this if off, it did show things incorrectly.
Okay,
so it's missing the dates on there. So the dates must come through in a different format to what we were using.
So it doesn't know how to filter them out.
So what does the date look like now?
It looks like a Firebase date.
So I'm just do a console log for events. I just want to see what the hell this looks like.
Yes, and you're right. We haven't subscribed to the real data. We've taken a take 1. So
yeah, right. I was expecting that to happen, but I thought maybe there's some crazy magic that Eddie knows about.
No, it made me look stupid. Thanks, Andrew. You could have kicked him under the desk and said, "It's not going to work. You're missing something, jackass."
I don't know for sure because I'm new to this. All I can do is base it on theory. Okay, so the dates that have come through are interesting timestamp looking dates. Okay, that's quite an interesting. So what do you do with these dates then that come through from Firebase? You'll have to tell me a little bit about this. So it comes through as what was like a timestamp.
It comes through as a Firebase timestamp class.
So I'm guessing that Firebase has a special way that it references those. So in the
There's a type, yes.
in the type up here, it's probably not
It's
one
not
of
a
these
date,
dates.
no.
Now. What is it? Do you remember?
It's really long.
It's going to be something like Angular, Fire.
I don't think I used the Angular 5. I used some, I was doing it in... Oh, good question. Kush, do you remember?
Okay,
I think Kush
we'll have to look
fixed
it
these
up.
for me.
Oh, right, okay. We'll have to look it up then. So, just move my browser around a bit. Angular.
You're still showing
Firestore.
you're showing your screen, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I should be. Why were you busy typing in? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm typing on Slack.
So Angular Firestore. Where are we at? Date type. Storing.
I can check
behavior.
Dashboard Hub's code because we did work on
Yeah,
this.
you
very
have a look there
recently.
while I see if I can find it on here. I'm sure you'll find it first, but timestamp JavaScript SDK. Firebase.firestore.timestamp. Does that sound familiar?
That does sound very familiar. Yeah.
Let's try that, shall we?
Okay, Andrew beat me to it. Good old Google, huh?
Okay, import. That seems alright. Does that look what you expect? So star from Firebase.
Yeah, I made a type to make it a bit easier.
Okay,
So-
so now when I go to here, this will complain because it's not going to be one of those. It's going to be. What's it going to be? It's going to be date end dot. Oh, we can just do a to date.
Okay. Will that work? Yeah, because we give a date
well,
object
that
back.
means I guess I don't need to wrap it in one of these anymore.
That's
so
true.
That's good. So to date, get time. Well, I get time is just getting me back
Just give the time of that day.
So I might
That's
be able to
actually-
actually use. Is it seconds it gets back?
No, but you don't. You want.
We'll just stick with to date for now. I can always have a look.
But to date get time isn't get time. Get time.
No, returns. I'm pretty sure milliseconds.
I thought it was a time of today, as in so it'll reset every day. But it has been working, so I'm
No,
guessing
it's
not.
not the time of the day. No, so I can console that if you want to see what it is.
Because we made that mistake on Dashboard Hub, that we it sometimes
if you
works,
use, like,
sometimes wouldn't.
Is it get date? I think is the one that gives you the date.
Oh, maybe.
Get time. I think gets you milliseconds, but I can't remember if it's milliseconds or seconds. So let's have a quick look.
I think it's seconds, but I wasn't sure it's for today or just from the beginning of time, like 1970.
I've turned his future off though because we're not looking at
Oh,
the future stuff.
Kush has sent it through. Thank you very much, Kush. I wasn't watching the chat, so apologies. Firebase, Firestore, timestamp from date. As if we're creating it. At the moment, we're reading it because I used the Firebase UI to put it in, so it's been saved correctly. So Kush is right for if we want to create it, which we will on the admin section, but not today at the moment. What did I miss?
Well, I thought I'd take the events that come through, map them, and just put the dates out.
Okay, got you.
But yeah, it's not happy doing that.
What's the error?
Doesn't like converting that into a date for that. Oh, so it's actually having an issue on the HTML.
On the HTML side. Did you have a console?
Yeah, well, we're using a pipe in here, so I mean, I guess it's just JavaScript, right? So I can just do to date. There'll be another one there. There's a couple of places we've done it. Could really do with building a nice pipe that just formats the whole thing in one hit. But,
Yeah. Welcome to Open Source Contributions. Anyone wants to contribute? And if you need a hand, let us know. You can pair with us on a live stream or just submit a PR and we can give you some feedback. You can probably give us some feedback actually.
I don't think to date is working right, so let me just comment those.
Let me
lines out.
get Dashboard Hub up and I can have a look at because it was when reading the date
Yeah, it doesn't
out.
like that.
Let me see. I was looking at this recently. So.
Oh, one comes through as undefined. That's interesting. That's why there's a problem.
Oh, have I bodged it up in the database?
Something's coming through as undefined.
I might have not put them both in. Oh, I missed. No, date end, date start. Have I called it the wrong name? End date. I called it the wrong.
Yeah.
I thought we were all pairing.
I said it to you a minute ago, and you said no. You checked it.
No,
I thought I normally prefixed them
the-
date rather than that. Yeah.
Date.
It was the first
date,
one earlier. It's okay.
Date. It was the first one
It
earlier.
was earlier when I said, "Isn't it at date end?" You said, "No, it's end." It's okay.
Oh, I can't swear.
We can replay the
Sorry,
video
kid.
later to see who was right.
Yeah.
If you want to have a look yourself, replay the video. Okay. Anyway.
So it is
Can you edit
date.
that? Can
Yes.
you edit the record?
Oh yes, I can.
Good.
So that's date end and date start, which was the one for.
Yeah. So that one's correct.
So there was the
It's
first
this
one I got wrong. Oh wow. Okay. Oh no, I can't edit it, so I can delete the field and re-add it. If I go delete.
You got to remember what it says. 10th of July at 7.
10th of July.
10th of July at 9.
No, it's the 7th of July.
You must have picked the right. It's because it's American dates and you put it in wrong.
Oh, it is meant to be the 10th of July. You're right. Okay, let's try again. Right. Add field.
So date
start. And it's a date.
So I'm going to bring one of those. If anyone watched Timmy Mallet, we're going to get one of those mallets.
Yeah. Showing our age now. And what time was it? 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
7 o'clock. That was date start. Not add collection. No, add field. And we're going to say date end.
I should have gone to Eddie's screen for this so everyone can watch what Eddie's doing.
Oh yeah, you can watch me messing up for a second time. So even with the Stream Deck or without the Stream Deck, we always forget to switch screens and switch cameras and all the rest. I'm just using the Firebase UI to do this.
So just deleted a
10.
couple of fields and then putting them back in.
Yeah. 7 to 9 I said. Right, added. I don't know if it's going to work. These dates things always mess me around.
So for all of 2 seconds go into your screen, go back to mine.
Let's have a look.
And let's see, hopefully I don't see an undefined, oops, that's OBS again, we don't want to see OBS. Hopefully I don't see undefined down the bottom. Right, that's better, so it's showing 2 timestamps. So now maybe that 2 date will work without throwing up a big error. Ah, that looks better. Okay, so we can have 2 dates.
Cool.
And then we wanted to see what get time gives you, right? So
Oh yes, we did. We wanted to see if it's time for today or
So,
time from the beginning of time.
there we go, you get this. I'm pretty sure that's in milliseconds from the start of time, or the
1970.
1970, January the 1st?
Is it
1970.
1970? Yeah, January the 1st. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, which I think is what date.now also gives you. So if we were to take date.now,
Okay.
just console log one
Let's
of
have
those.
a look. Let's have a look. I'm making an arm
Console,
chat as well.
console logging is the best way to see errors, right? When you're when you're debugging. So if you look at that, that's in milliseconds. That's in milliseconds. So for this one, we don't need to do that.
Oh, it's tapping my mic.
I don't think it gave you did it give us milliseconds as an option? Nanoseconds.
Seconds.
What about 2 millis?
2 millis. Sounds like a biscuit. Let's have a look. See, you're always learning. 15 years, 30 years combined, still learning.
Yeah, that looks good. So that's the 2 millis version, and then obviously that's now.
Nice.
So that should be showing as well. So we're seeing all of them because we haven't actually used this. So if we update our code a bit to actually use that again, so that's 2 millis greater than now. We can get rid of those.
Get rid of those console logs.
We don't need console logs. And go back to here. I can uncomment the date times that I
So it
commented
doesn't
out.
break anymore.
Select the right lines. And go back to here. So hopefully I can see the dates again now. Hopefully they're showing correctly. That looks better.
Nice.
And then we can put back, oh hang on, let me just go undo, put the 2 dates back on there. There we go, put the ngIf back in.
And so we shouldn't see the old one, we should just see the one for today. And then it still won't work because we've got to add in the real-time checking for the new data, so I won't fall for that again.
Okay, so now there's the future, which is
today, kind of like the
we haven't
current.
finished yet 'cause it's based on the end time. So in
Perfect.
20 minutes from now, that will disappear. So we've got 20 minutes left to finish this.
Okay, let's do it. So now,
Okay.
let's go back to the code, let's make it real-time
Okay,
data.
so we've got the snapshot from when you pull it in, but we also need
real-time stuff. So,
Okay, so we've got a service that already pulls the stuff in.
it's going to be easy
So we're going to
peasy.
need to add the service in.
Yeah.
So we say private, and it's going to be the schedule service, I think we called it.
Yep. This is how beautiful Angular is. It's just, and then when you mix it with real-time data, no matter if you're using WebSockets or Firebase, whatever you're using, it just makes it like super sexy.
Okay, so then we can say this dot
RxJS. Good stuff.
find all,
Yep.
subscribe,
Yep.
and then inside the subscribe we're getting a set of events.
Yep.
So we want to take those events and we want to pass them into this events.
Yep. So we're kind of overwriting the what came in from the resolve into the class variable, but it should
So
happen
we've got the
seamlessly,
initial
no one else
load
to
when
do
you
it.
hit the page. Doesn't like the fact Does it not know what it is?
We might put it on strict.
I may have put it on.
Oh, doesn't like that. Events array. Events are not assignable to event array void. What have we done?
So let's have a go back to the service.
Let's have a look.
So the service returns an observable of event, which looks correct. It's an array of events.
Yeah, that does look good.
And inside here,
Events.
this events is set to an
Array of events, which is correct. Equals to events. What's the
The
mistake?
event is missing the following properties: event title, link, date, start, date, end. That doesn't sound right. That should be all there. We did import event in here, right? Oh, okay.
How come I didn't underline
So-
it?
Event is a
Global.
global type. I hate globals. Always beware of using global
It didn't
names.
underline it, so we should have noticed that.
Yeah, so it's got the wrong type it's set to. Which is good. TypeScript did sort of find it for us, it's just the message is a little bit cryptic to figure it
It
out.
was, so.
So we need to import our event.
Code Mortals event object.
As long as we never use the global event within this file, we're okay. But if we
Yeah.
were to use the global event, we need to really rename that.
You have to do an as and rename it to an alias.
And this is going to be from, this is right the way up.
We're going to get this done. We're ticking away. Don't forget to join our Code Mortals Slack, or I should be sharing a link. It is on the website. But let me share a link as well to the...
There we go. Look, the underline has disappeared. So it's happy now.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so if I go back to the code, it should still be working. However, we want to see some real-time stuff. So when Eddie's ready, we're going to get Eddie to put another entry in.
I'm just going to share the website in the Slack, and so people can go. Sorry, in the
It's
chat.
not deployed.
What's not deployed?
What we've been doing is not deployed yet. Let's
That's
check
okay.
it works. Add an entry, check it works. If it works, we will get it deployed because we'll auto deploy,
Yeah.
and then we can. People can go to that link that Eddie's just shared. And we can add a couple more events. and
Real
everyone
time.
can watch them
Everybody.
coming in.
Nice. Love it.
So you can
Love
see
it.
for sure that I haven't got my hands on the keyboard. So let's just go over to Eddie's screen for a moment, and he's going to add another entry in. Oh, you can join our Slack from the website. Yeah, sorry, that's what you were talking about.
Yes, I was trying to do too many things at once and doing it very wrong. So that should now update as we add new things. So
So
yes,
you're going to go over to your Firebase,
come over to my Firebase. Yeah,
go over to Eddie's screen.
cool. And then I will add another document, auto IG. It's going to be a type. Which one are we adding next? Let's have a look. We'll add the second one down, which was a conference. Oh, but that'll be in the past. It won't show. Let me go to the bottom of the list. We'll add this one. So we're going to do a stream on the 14th of the 8th. So type is stream.
Oh, so that line that Kush shared, does that automatically convert everything into a date type so you don't get all the object? I guess it probably does. The way it's written looks like it probably converts all dates that come in. Saves us having to write two dates everywhere. We can fix that in a minute. But that's interesting. I might give that a try whilst you're.
Okay, you have a play, and and you can let me know. I thought that was when we're saving to Firebase. I use that in functions when I'm trying to save a created or an updated date, but I could be wrong. So type, and then we have title. I won't hit save, so then we can switch back to Andrew's screen, and you'll be able to see update real time. So we've got title, and then, but you didn't have the unsubscribe either, and you have to have the unsubscribe. So we'll do that afterwards too. So the title of this stream is on the, don't do that, don't hit spacebar while trying to select stuff. Just gonna copy and paste that. Title, and then what else do you want? Link.
No, it doesn't let you run the from date on there. It gets upset, so I'll take that back out for now. It's
What,
okay.
for which part were you doing it for?
Well, just one where Kush was saying firebase.firestore.timestamp.
Only when you're creating it,
And then
not
on
in
there, but
the
it's only when you're
interface,
creating,
yeah.
okay. Fair enough.
But worth trying to check. So I've added the link, and then what else do we have? We have date start, which is going to change to timestamp, and we said it's going to be on the 14th of the 8th at 6 o'clock. 14th
August.
of August. 6 o'clock. I think 6:30. You never make it for 6 o'clock.
In fact, the 12th of August, we're going to probably not be streaming now as well, so we need to update that. Well, we just won't put it into this version. But
Makes sense. So, timestamp, same day again, the 14th, and we're going to set, I don't know, to 8:30.
Late 8:30ish, yeah. Do 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours, always good number. Oh, I almost hit save. Let's not hit save. Right,
Okay.
you want to share your screen?
So, yeah, I've got the website open, so let me swap screen share back over.
Okay.
So,
Andrew's
screen, my
screen.
hands away.
We're not touching his computer.
Behind
We're
my
going to hit
back.
save, and hopefully, real time, it's going to update Andrew's.
fingers
And
crossed.
then we will eventually upload it, and then you can have it open. I'll add another event, another scheduled event, and it should update all of your screens. Save.
Hello, Venkatesh as well. Oh, there it is straight away. Look how quick that came in.
See,
It
that's
literally,
Firebase. That's
the
awesome.
within milliseconds of you hitting save, that was there.
So that's awesome.
That was quick.
Hey Venkatesh, thanks for joining. Nice. Okay, so
So we've got a
that
few more
worked.
to add. Do you want to get them all
We've got
added
loads
now?
Let's deploy this so other
Okay,
people can
let's
have it
deploy.
open. They can see update themselves. You know, show
So there is a
real
little bit of
time.
cleanup I want to do first. So I
Okay,
can
do
get
that.
rid of the assets file now because that's not going to be used. Is there any other cleanup needed? So there's just this one schedule JSON. Obviously you want to. Well, you're still in the pull request. You're looking at the pull request.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's fine. So, you
So
can
I will delete
it.
that data one. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else that we need to clean up? That might have been it actually.
Oh no, we need the to destroy.
Ah, okay.
Destroy the subscription.
Yes.
So a subscription is kept alive. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that when that component gets destroyed, we destroy the actual subscription.
Okay, so we have an ng destroy, which is another interface, a bit like ng init. So ng init we've been using quite a few times now, but ng destroy will run when the component unloads from the page. So it just gives you the ability to clean things up that would otherwise be left in memory. So we need to first of all create a variable to hold that in. So we'll call this schedule subscription. What do you want to call it?
Scheduled subscription, yeah, that sounds good. If you have loads of subscriptions in one component, you can make an array, and therefore when it's on the destroy, you can like loop for those and unsubscribe from each one. But we'll just keep it really simple for here.
It's just a subscription.
It's just a
right?
subscription, yeah.
So then I can say this dot.
Then you just save your subscribe.
Subscription.
You save the result from that to that subscription.
And then we can on destroy say subscription unsubscribe.
Boom, and that just cleans up after itself, and it's really, really nice, really elegant. You probably, if you forgot to do that, you probably won't notice any issues. But as your project gets bigger,
Or if you were to navigate around an awful lot on the site, it might start to slow down
Yeah.
and get a bit of performance.
because it would,
Every time you go to that page, so if I was to go backwards and forwards on the subscribe right now and do that, I don't know, 100,000 times, whatever it is, then when you sent a new update in, it would probably just slow everything down as
Yeah.
everywhere tries to process it. Whilst there's not a lot of logic going on there, which is why it'd probably be like 1,000 you'd have to do. Yeah, not good to have it for people that might be on there for a long time.
so let's deploy everything. Let's deploy. We've got the rules. We've
Okay.
got the website.
I'll have to have a look at my changes. I can see my changes.
We might have to put an index, but we can worry about that later on. We're not doing any sorts or any filtering. Actually, index is not needed.
We'll very quickly just run through the changes for people. So we added Angular Fire module. So that was from the new Angular Fire module we added. And we've had to initialize that from an set of environment variables. So those environment variables will probably be the next thing on the file. So these are our keys, so forth. Obviously, because this is a website, these keys are public. So me sharing this is not any kind of violation. For those that are out there going, oh, you just shared your keys.
These keys are okay.
These keys are okay to share. And again, in the local environment, same settings. So you might want on your local, perhaps, to be connected to a different Firestore, I guess. So you wanted to do some testing on a different Firestore.
Yeah.
You could have that connected up
Which is
elsewhere.
what we do for Dashboard Hub. So we do have different. We have our own project area, so you can change data, bust things, delete things. You don't bother anybody else.
We then had to change the date type for TypeScript, so it understands what
For
a
Firebase.
Firebase Firestore timestamp looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, Firestore is part of the Firebase. It's quite confusing. A lot of fire.
We've had to add some extra config to Firebase for Firestore, where the rules and indexes files are.
So just to explain, the indexes are for performance. So you can see if you're going to sort or filter on any column or any field, then you need to have an index on it, which we haven't done yet, but we probably will
We
eventually.
probably should, because right now we're getting the front end to filter out what the future stuff is, but we could move that now into the back end. But we're not going to do that not today, because we want to finish shortly.
And then the rules are how to lock down what can read and write to your data.
Yeah. So we've just set read to basically true and write to false, so nothing can write. We have to go manually onto the interface. The index HTML file, what is that?
Did you format it?
Where is that one? Okay. That's because when
Oh,
I click public, so
and it created it. We can delete that. We don't need
delete
that.
We don't need that.
Delete.
The package lock and package JSON. I won't go into the package lock, but the package JSON, we have added Angular Fire and Firebase to dependencies we require. Apologies for the background noise. There's lots of sandpapering going on.
They're repainting the bar near us, but I think there is a little bit of sound in the background. Let me just turn down the gain ever so slightly. We have to get closer to the mics.
Okay, we can get closer.
Make it cozy.
Within here, we've had to cast everything to dates because we're now using the Firebase timestamps.
Hopefully that audio is okay.
As mentioned, we've just done a subscription, so not only do we grab the Resolve data, we can now subscribe to Firebase.
To get the
all the real-time stuff comes through as we subscribe, and when you leave the component, as we've literally just added, a destroy to unsubscribe when we exit. And then this function here, this is future, a thing we can get rid of to use the indexes with soon.
Yeah, not just yet, but soon. Before Andrew moves on, I'm just going to say don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and share with your friends.
Schedule JSON has gone because we've moved away from the JSON file into a database now.
Not all the items have gone in, but they will go in.
We'll get them
soon.
all in. We'll get them all in.
We want to deploy this so you can see it update real time.
And the only other thing was the service. This is where, say, the magic happens. But this is where we actually talk to the database.
Though.
There's not that many changes. No, we've basically swapped out HTTP client for Angular Firestore. We're still returning a collection of data. It's just one was an HTTP GET. Now we're just getting a Firestore collection, and we're looking for the value change, which is the observable on that. Next up, we had to just update the resolve, and the important part was the pipe to take one, which I think Eddie was surprised I guessed. So I upset him there. He was all ready for that. So that was a good guess. But no, that's all good. So I will get that.
So we're going to deploy. The idea is we'll commit, and then it will automatically deploy from CI.
Do I have an issue number?
I will create you one.
Okay. Sorry, you can carry on talking about deploying on CI. Or I can talk about the way to do the issue if you like.
Yeah.
Typing and talking is always difficult.
I just can't do it.
Yeah. So once Eddie's raised an issue, I can push this up against a branch. Eddie will then have to review the pull request, but we've sort of done a group review now, so his review is going to be very brief, I'm sure. Once he reviews that, it will get merged into the master branch. We then have Circle CI monitoring for the changes, and after a merge, it will auto-deploy to Firebase hosting. Everything's on Firebase for this project. I know there's plenty of other services out there, but we decided at the start, let's do something a little bit unusual. Most of our clients want to be on AWS, or they want to be on GCP, or they want to be on Azure. They're a little bit, I wouldn't say fearful, but there's a bit too much black magic that goes on with Firebase, which we love, obviously. It takes all the ops away from you. I mean, I'm not a big fan of ops these days, so that's why Firebase is an attractive thing to learn. Yeah. It's just, you don't get many opportunities working for clients, so this is great that we're having a go at using it, I think.
And taking you on our journey with us. I know my startup is using it, and I'm still learning though. So you got issue number of 74 I've just created.
74, nice, okay.
So Andrew's going to commit that, and then we're going to get you all to open the project once it's deployed, and then that way I can add some more data to the database, and let's see it refresh on all your pages. The beauty of, I guess, pub sub is, rather than all of you polling and hit a database, say we've got, 5 people watching, rather than, let me see how many we've got watching. Yeah, with 5 people watching, rather than 5 people, and if you times that by 100, say, 500 people all hitting the database to get the same data. With the publish and subscribe, that kind of architecture and design pattern, the idea is when the data changes, it will push out that one message to those 500 people. And it's much more easier, less load on the server.
Okay, so I've pushed the changes up. What I will do is swap over to, well, actually, I need to raise the pull request. Let me raise the pull request first, then I'll swap over to Eddie's screen. Cool. So I'll go off to GitHub. Go Hardcode Mortals. There it is. You should pick up that there's a new branch.
I want to slightly turn down the gain a little bit more.
And I will just add the magic word closes 74 so that when Eddie reviews this, it will auto close the issue. Okay, so that's the issue up. So let's swap to Eddie's screen where he will now do the world's fastest code review.
Well, we kind of all reviewed it together, so I
think
trust all
I might have
of
been
you.
on camera one just then. Hopefully not. We might have just been. Yeah, we might have just been on camera.
Did I hope no one saw me pick my nose?
So people might have just missed the last little bit when we were doing some of that stuff.
Okay, so now have you switched to my computer? You have.
Yes, I can see it on yours because I can see it on my screen what it's live.
Awesome. So Andrew's raised a pull request. As he said, he's added the closes up here, so it closes the ticket that I raised, 74, and you can click on it and go to it if you want. We're going to have a quick review of the file changes, but we all reviewed it just now together, so I'm sure it's fine. We've got the configuration for Firebase. There's no indexes yet. There's got the rules, which is important.
So obviously, if you ever want to see how to actually do this yourself, the history will be there on the project. So you can go to the GitHub project, go to the pull request, and look at the closed ones shortly, and you'll see this pull request is listed there. So you can always browse through the changes anytime you like.
Oh, I think that looks good to me. Let's do it. So I want to review it. Say looks good to me. LGTM, approve. And then I'm probably it's all text of pass.
I'll let you merge it.
You want to squash it?
I prefer to squash to not have that messy merge history.
Do you want to talk about squashing?
So squashing, I like it because it doesn't keep all the crap in there. So often on projects I will do, I don't know, 20 commits that are broken. I do that on purpose just so I have points in time I can return to. But I don't really want that history there. That's really more just me making sure I've taken a mental note and I've got somewhere to roll back to. But squashing will take all of those commits, bring them all into a single commit and put that into the main branch that you're merging to. Just click try again.
That's really strange. It is
sometimes
verified.
GitHub, if you're clicking too fast, it just doesn't quite pick it up right.
It does save. Oh, it worked that time.
So yeah,
okay,
retry works. So yeah, squashing the commits just gives you one commit in the history. So when you're looking through that long history, you've just got the important key points in time. The downside to that is for your GitHub recognition of how many commits you've done, you don't get the 20 commits that you did, you just get the one commit. So this particular pull request, not really a problem because there's only one commit that was on there, but for a larger commit where you might have done 20 things because you were going in and out changing stuff, you just get the 1 point on there because the other stuff gets lost. So it would be great if GitHub could actually monitor all the other work that you did to get into there. So if anyone from GitHub is listening, that would be a nice little bonus for actually getting the correct recognition for how many commits you've done, because that way I would probably have 10 times more on my GitHub than Eddie does, because Eddie doesn't squash his commits. He likes to get the points, because for him points mean prizes.
Andrew doesn't do any open source work. This is his way of getting some open source work done.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to find the project now. Why can't I find it? I prefer Travis.
What are you looking for?
I just want to see the build and the deployment.
Go to app, yeah.
And it
What's going on? Are you logged in as you?
Yeah, and it always just brings up this page. Start a project. I don't care.
Okay, you're in code mortals. There we go.
Okay, here we go. So the job is running.
This is the one on master, right? Yes, you can see master is listed at the top there.
There we go. So what that means is it's building the project. It's going to
So
deploy
it's running
out.
tests, of which we have one test running in Cypress right now. We need to add some more tests in Cypress.
Especially for this list now. I'll be really interested in how Cypress works with Nook to mock out.
Well, we're not going to be using Nook with Cypress. We mock the
Oh,
Cypress
you mock it with
balls slightly
Cypress.
differently.
Yeah, that's true.
Cypress
Sorry.
has its own mocking kit technique.
I'm thinking of API. Sorry. Yes, you're right. I'd be really interested in how to see how we mock out that list so it doesn't actually make the call to the database. That could be slow. It means you need internet, and it can cost quite a bit if you're hammering your tests, are hammering your Firebase.
I'll tell you what, we're doing a talk next week with Cypress, aren't we? Maybe part of our talk, we could do that piece of work. We can then have it on our talk, which will be getting recorded, and people can watch us live in front of an audience, and we can show that little bit as being our demo for using Cypress, perhaps.
That's true. It's only a small audience of about 150, 200 people.
Yeah.
Andrew's going to do all the talking, and I'm going to stand there and look pretty.
I don't know. If you can.
I'll just talk. I'll ask questions. Oh, yeah, that
Don't
sounds
go
great.
asking questions. We'll ask the audience questions. They can answer it all.
True. Okay, so it's been going for 2 minutes.
So the testing should
According
be
to
around
this,
about done now.
It usually takes about 5 minutes. But let me click on it and go in, and we can actually see how the.
It's finished already. It's just
Oh.
this is the fantastic real time the site. So you don't always need to get there.
They obviously don't use
messages.
Firebase.
No, I'm not sure what they're using for this.
They're using
So it's in the deploy step now anyway,
Okay, so
which
perfect.
normally takes
So-
about a minute and a half. So it should be fairly close to having the build done. Once the build's done, the deploy is pretty quick after.
It's quite long.
So it's doing a production build. This is Angular building and ripping out all the stuff it doesn't need. There we go. It's already
now
past
it's
that.
deploying.
And
So we haven't got a version number on the website yet, but we will obviously see.
well, it should be obvious because you will only see the entries that we've got on the schedule now, which would be just be 2, right? Well,
That's
actually,
true.
probably only 1 because it's just hit 8 o'clock. So you're probably only going to see 1 now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Just finished to deploy. Let me do a refresh. It might take a few minutes to go through the.
Well, certainly as soon as you already have the browser open, it does, sometimes your local cache might get. You might open a private browser, perhaps. Ooh, hello.
Oh, Jason, I've got the old data.
Yeah, you got the old file
on
one.
the
Yeah. So
file
open up the private browser. This is where sometimes keeping old files can be handy because you haven't cached the old JSON file. So if you do private browsing for
Will I
it,
do that in here?
so yeah, just a new private window. And then go to schedule there.
Yeah, that's
there we go.
worked.
It's just the one
and
entry.
it's just the one.
So if
14
anyone wants to go
August.
there themselves, they should be able to just see on the Code Mortals /schedule or just click on
I'm
the link.
going to copy that into the chat, and then I want to get everyone to go there, and I want to update it in Firestore's database.
We're going to go and add
update
another
for
entry
it.
now. Or shall I add an entry where you've got it open if you
Yeah,
like?
do that.
So you can keep it open on your screen. I
Let
can
me
go
just
and add
share
another
this
one.
in the chat. Okay, so everybody, open this URL to see real-time data with Firebase's Firestore. So open that URL, let us know, and then, what have you switched back to your screen? You still on
No,
mine?
no, it's still on your screen.
Okay.
I'm going to
So Andrew,
just
if you
grab one of the old entries.
look at my screen or open this URL locally, there's only one entry there. Andrew's going to add another one, and it should update all our computers. So no hands on my computer. I'm not updating mine. Andrew's on his.
Yeah, so I'm going to add effectively our talk that we're doing next week.
Nice.
So, title is JS Monthly, talking about Cypress and Angular with CI and CD. And then the link for that is a link to the meetup stuff, which is probably full now. So, whilst you can still take a look at the link, I don't think anyone's able to actually join the event. They might go on the waiting list. 30th of 7th. So
we can sneak you in. Let us know. Send us a message. We'll sneak you in.
Yeah, I'm sure we can sort something out. Date start, which is a timestamp, and that is for the 30th at 7 p.m. So
Our last
1900.
stream, we were doing we were coding our slides. Where we started coding our slides. We still got a lot more work to do.
We
on
did
it.
start. We haven't done any more since the stream, but we're going to get onto that this week, and probably won't be streamed next. We end up talking too much on the stream. We need to get our heads down and properly think about what we're going to do. We might then do a little stream that summarises it. Depends if we get time between now and that event for that one.
I don't talk that much. What are you trying to say?
No, I think we just generally we get quite distracted wanting to talk to everybody.
So
Okay, so type, title, link, date, start, date,
Before
end.
you hit save, make sure everyone's got it open. And you've got that
Type,
URL
title,
open.
link,
We need to know if it works. So I've got it open on my screen, but I want also you to have it open on your screen. Don't hit refresh once you've got it open, and a new entry should automatically appear.
Okay, so I'm going to hit it in. I'm going to count down from 3.
Thank you,
okay?
Tesh, gives us a thumbs up, so we know he's got it
Ready?
open.
Yeah, good.
Hopefully other
Okay.
people have got it open too.
Now the thing is that they're going to actually see this before they see me clicking it effectively, or see it on your screen
Why?
anyway. Well, because the video feed is 30 seconds behind-ish, right? So when I click save,
They'll see it first.
they'll have seen it before they hear me say I've saved it. I'm going to count down from 3, but there's not much point
Right,
doing
that's
that.
true.
So I'm just going to hit save now, and
Okay.
you'll have already seen it by the time you hear me.
No
talking.
hands. Andrew's going to hit save on his. You're showing my
So
screen.
I've
It's
hit
going to
save.
appear.
So on your screen you've seen
It's
it,
just appeared.
which is great.
So
That
it
was
means it's
great.
appeared on
Which
yours
mean
too.
you've already seen it before I hit save, which is quite weird, right? They're like some kind of time warp go on there.
It's true. So, did everyone see it? If you had the browser open, did everyone see it? Let us know in the chat. Let us know if it updated for you without refreshing the page. Real-time data we push to your browser.
Got it. So, okay, the video's not quite as far behind.
Cool.
Nice.
Right? So real-time data, two-way communication. Okay, we haven't given
I
you
can
any
put
way
another
to
one in.
communicate back.
You can keep talking. I'll put one more in so people are still watching. There's another one that we're doing next week.
Okay.
No.
That's this Wednesday.
That's this week. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's on
Venkatesh says I'm able to see the two events. Awesome, and Connor got it as well. Thank you very much. That's awesome. So this is two-way data. If we gave like a chat or a form field, you could type into it and we would get it, and then and we could broadcast those messages out to everybody. But at the moment, we're kind of doing two-way, but not giving you the ability to send to us. We're just pushing out, which is usually the harder part. The send for everybody to send stuff in is the actually easier part. So it's like a normal form in a browser. So this is the harder part, and then we might make an admin section. Let us know what ideas you want to add to. Eventually, we want to make this into a community platform. We're really keen to get people to log in to this platform and do something. We're not quite sure. Log in, maybe get a badge. We were saying, so if you join our community early, probably one of the early adopters. We want to kind of consider you as part of the as part of our core community. So we might even have a page, like about page, and just say these are the members who joined early.
But we're also going once we've got things moving. We're wanting to look for sort of mentors or people in the community that are, what's the best word, but willing to be moderators of what goes on, and they can effectively just sign out badges. What would also be cool would be to actually allow people to recommend a badge as well. So if we haven't got a particular badge for something, you think it would be cool to have this badge, we're going to ask for recommendations. We just want to build that kind of community platform, but also have a little bit of fun about doing it.
Yeah, community platform built for the community, by you. We're going to do it together. And we also had the idea that if anyone wants to actually physically be on the stream with us, if you want to show your voice, show your face, both.
I've got the next one ready to go. I'm going to hit save.
Before you go save.
People will probably see it before they hear it.
Okay.
So I hit save.
Do it.
And people are going to see it already. So I hit save and you can see it.
Mine's up there. That's really fast.
It's quick, isn't it?
Told you. You're liking Firebase now.
I like the speed the data gets around.
The power and the speed.
So but then people build like chat platforms on this, right?
So
you could build a chat platform just going through Firebase managing the chat.
I think it's one of the demo examples. Yeah. I think you should move your open source startup project to Firebase.
I think I'm the one that convinced you to go that way, because I was looking at it for me. I was thinking about it for me, and I was going, but I've literally just moved everything to AWS Lambda. Literally, I think that same week I'd just finished doing it. I was like, I should have done Firebase. I thought, no, I'm not going to move to another platform right now. So I've just moved everything from, I think it was Elastic Beanstalk on AWS over to AWS Lambda, and the Lambda functions were fantastic. They're nice and quick. They're a hell of a lot cheaper. Not paying 50 quid a month for a server. I'm now paying probably 2 pence a month for a server, if that.
Venkatesh giving us a thumbs up. So you got the third bit of data. So we know that the real-time data works without refreshing. The real-time data just works. So that's awesome. That's why I think most projects should be real-time now. I don't understand why people say, you'll get the data in 1 hour, but don't forget to log out and log in again and refresh the page 5 or 10 times. It's like,
can you see it yet? Can you see it?
It's just like
refresh over and over.
It's there. It should be real-time. So Dashboard Hub is going to be real-time. It's not quite yet, because I haven't got the GitHub events going in yet. But going back to
wasn't that cool? That was Angular and Firebase working in harmony together. I mean, Angular and Firebase, the teams have worked so closely together to make this so smooth.
Absolutely. Do you want to switch back to the big camera and let me just go back to chat on my window?
Okay, big camera.
Novaz says, afternoon, guys. Afternoon. You've come at the end of the stream. Thank you for coming and saying hey. You've done some real-time data with everybody. So we had people have the browser open, and we pushed data to their browsers. So that was like really fast, a lot faster than I thought it was going to be.
It was quite quick. It literally, the second I pressed, by the time I looked at your screen, it was already there.
I mean, that's impressive. Imagine just looking over from one computer to the other, and the data's changed. And Andrew's kind of saved on his. It went up to the internet, up to Firebase, come all the way back down to mine, and to your computer as well at the same time. So I think that's, pretty awesome.
You probably saw it before you even heard it was coming.
Yeah, it's true, because of the lag with the stream.
It's like thunder and lightning or something.
Yeah, it's true. So Firebase is lightning. You heard that from Andrew, and we're thunder? Must be. Yeah, or YouTube's thunder, yeah, because it's a bit slower. But Firebase was fast. So yeah, I'm really excited to get my real-time webhooks on Dashboard Hub, because then I can you can update people's dashboards really quickly. But that's another story. I'll save those for my streams. The other thing I was going to say, get back to, was talking about the community platform we want to build. Any ideas you have, don't forget to just log issues under the website at the moment. But we want it so people can log in and get that badge or get that one of the first people to join.
I'll say it might be our next stream, but we might do that before the next stream, because the next stream we're on Code Mortals. I think that's probably the one we put in for the 14th, right? So it's going to be a couple of weeks before we're coding on Code Mortals again. We've got so many other bits going on. I know I'm away for a week as well. So yeah, probably on the 14th we'll be doing more coding, but we might set up the auth offline and we can just talk through how we did that.
That's true.
Because it would be good to get that up and running so we can focus a little bit more on the next part of what we want to build out.
Absolutely. And just to talk, Novaz has just asked a great question, and just to add to kind of bridge the gap between what Andrew was saying and what Novaz has asked. So this Wednesday we've got a live stream with 3 recruiters, and it's devs versus. I'm trying to make a noise.
I wouldn't do that. I noticed one thing that you do when you're making those noises on the TV at home was every time you clap, I'd like to put my hand on it.
Really?
It's really loud.
Sorry.
So Eddie's probably just deafened everybody that's watching.
Yes, we're going to do devs versus recruiters, no sound, just kind of fist bumping.
Yeah, if we had a little stream deck that we could press a button on, then we could be more tuned to it. Yeah,
that's true. Actually, we should have that ready. And we've had them on before. They're 3 amazing women, and
check out the previous videos if you want to see a bit more and hear some of the preamble that's been had.
Yep, and they're really keen to bridge the gap, like we are, between developers and recruiters. So we're going to all have those difficult discussions, bring your difficult and burning questions, and we'll get them answered and sorted and improved. But Novaz is in London next month. Any events or meetup? There are loads. I mean, even next week.
But I think he's asking for anything that we're going to.
Yes, so
we haven't put anything in the calendar yet.
We will find some that we've got in our calendar, and we'll add it to our Code Mortal schedule. And you can come and vlog with us and come to events with us.
The downside is that we're both quite busy in August.
Yeah, Andrew's away for a week.
We're away, you're away.
I'm away for a different week. So that's half the month gone. But still, we'll probably be going to events by ourselves during those time where the other person's away. So let us know. You can welcome to join us. Which dates are you in London for? I know next week.
I was going to say, keep an eye on our schedule on the website.
Real-time schedule.
But now real-time, yeah, because we are trying to make sure that that's reasonably up to date, apart from today, which was very last minute that we decided to do the stream today.
That's true.
So, yeah, we may well have a few events that we're heading off for, or certainly meetups. But we will update the website so you know where we are.
Absolutely. I mean, we have, we might be live streaming. So we actually have an event next week for a security event. Is next week? Next Thursday?
Thursday or Wednesday? Wednesday, I think.
Next Wednesday. It's a security event with lots of. It's focused on InfoSec.
It's being hosted by a major bank.
I don't think they're hosting it. Are they hosting it? They're involved somehow. One of the high street banks in London, and we're not sure if we were going to record it and chat to people and record the talks, or we might live stream it. Would you like to see a live stream and ask questions, and we can ask questions on your behalf if you do have any questions? We need to confirm what we're allowed to do at the event, but I'm pretty sure they're open for us to take our kit and maybe do both. We got 2 cameras, point one at us and one at them, and I don't know if we can talk at the back or something. We'll figure something out. But let us know. Would you like to live stream it or see the video in a couple of months when we've recorded it, edited it, and all the rest? Live stream, you get it like you being there, right? And then we can get people to join us.
See the mess, and
you can get people to join us, right? We can wave people over and say, "Hey, we've got 2 mics. Come and chat to us." Switch to the camera pointing to us. You can come chat with us or something. We can figure something out.
At some point, we'll get even slicker about not having the right camera. We did quite well today, apart from I think I did have the wrong camera up for probably 5 minutes.
That's fine. It happens. But yeah, Novaz, add us on LinkedIn. Let me get my LinkedIn details, and then we can chat. So I'm just going to add that to the chat. We'll bear with me 1 second. Anyone else listening, add me to LinkedIn as well. Error, try again.
Ooh.
That's an interesting one. Not edit, just try again. YouTube doesn't like me?
You can always just read it out.
No, it's just my name, Eddie Jowd.
YouTube just look up Eddie Jowd on LinkedIn, you'll find him. It says hug a developer where you put your hands. So you give Eddie a hug if you do see him.
Yeah, I can't point any higher, but my name's on there. Just search on LinkedIn for kind of Eddie Jowd. And add me, and then we can. That's really weird. Won't let me post the LinkedIn thing.
Anyhow, I think we should probably be calling it a day now.
We should. Thank you all for joining. Hope you had fun. We had fun. We got real-time working. We got Firebase set up.
So take a glance back through. I think it was a pretty good session. Really, it was quiet for the first half of it, so we were just heads down coding.
Cool. Venkatesh says he's listening. Thank you very much for still being with us. We are going to call it a day now, though, and we'll join you on, don't forget, Wednesday. Big stream on Wednesday. It's going to be no coding, but chatting to recruiters.
Yep.
Join us. There'll be 5 of us in total, so 3 recruiters and 2 of us, 2 devs, and we'll be chatting about bridging that gap and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and then next week, obviously, we're. I thought we were streaming on Wednesday. Next week.
Yeah, we are from the security event, maybe.
Oh, that's from the security event. Yeah.
Cool. We will join us. We'll
Okay,
update the
anyway,
schedule.
Schedule's best place to look.
Cool. Have a great afternoon, evening to everyone. It's great to be with you again, and we look forward to next time. And any ideas? You only have a follow button on LinkedIn. I think there's a more button on the right. For some reason, LinkedIn sometimes hides the connection button, and it's either because we don't have a network between us, as in like 2, 3, or 4 people, or you've invited too many people recently. It changes for me when I look at some people. Sometimes I get the... but if you follow me, I'll get a notification. I can send you an invite. I mean, it doesn't matter. Oh, you found it. Cool. Venkatesh says he'll be there. Venkatesh, thank you again for your continued support over these weeks and months. Really appreciate it. I love everyone's support. I think it's really good. Andrew, I think, is adding another event in. So if you've got the browser open...
This is in the past, so it won't show.
We need a past section. We do need a past section, so we'll maybe do that. If anyone else wants to do a past section...
Well, unless we've got another one in the future that you can add right now, we could always do one more quickly. I haven't looked at my calendar, so I don't know what's
That's
what we're
fine,
good for.
no problem. I will continue talking. Novaz has found it and has added me on LinkedIn. Let me see. I've got 2 notifications. Ben Line has added me. I've got the invitation, so I will accept that, and we'll chat. Let us know when you're in London, and we'll let you know what events are coming up, and we'll go geek out. We'll see what we have. I don't think we've got any hackathons in August, but there will definitely be some meetups in the
There'll be some
evening.
meetups. I know August we're away quite a bit, so we haven't looked too heavily at the meetup schedule, but we will take a look.
Cool. Okay, so if that's in the past, there's no point in everyone looking because it won't change. We haven't got the past items up yet. We'll another feature to add. Shall I add that as a feature on the board? Or
I think we should just say goodbye to everyone. If they want to follow on GitHub, they can keep an eye on GitHub.
true.
Obviously, everything is as public as we can make it, but we haven't got someone with a camera that can follow us around all day, listening to all the things that come out of our mouths, which you probably wouldn't want to do. There's a lot of rubbish out there, but
True.
we have stand-ups most mornings, just whether we're in the office or at home, and they're normally supposed to take about 15 minutes. We end up talking for about 45 minutes.
But useful
afterwards.
stuff, though.
It is always
Not
useful.
chatting
There's
about
always
the
ideas
weather.
of, I just thought of this, or I saw this video, and so.
Well, I've created the issue for past events now, so that's done. Okay, let's call it a day. Thank you almost. Thank you everyone for joining. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the channel with your friends. And we'll catch you next time. Code Mortals out.
Good night.
Good night.
I've just